Within this video, I will show you guys how to own table like this for like 20 cents per service. So the video is not mostly for like the average person, let's say. It's mostly for persons who own a restaurant or who owns like businesses that has venues and they need like furniture for it. And I will show you not just the furniture itself that we sell basically, and I don't want to sell you anything from here, so I just want to show you like a different business model, like how to get the best of the best, how to attract the customers, and how to basically get away with like almost free stuff compared to your competition. So let's say if you're in New York or you're like in a capital and you have the restaurant in the center, you basically have to change your furniture every like year or 2 year to be like top notch and everybody to be in, because after a while it might get boring. I don't say every time it gets boring, but it might get. And I want to show you a business model that will keep you like the best of the best furniture all the time that costs like a fortune, and you'll be able to afford it to change it like really frequently. So let's say if your occupancy is like 20, 30, 40%, I'm just telling a number, it will like go up. So basically you will make like hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even if you're like in a big capital, maybe millions of dollars of plus. Yeah, surely it sounds like exaggerating, but I want to show you the math. And this video is nothing else, just showing you the math. So again, I don't want to sell you anything. Even we sell those furnitures or we rent them out, but this video is not about, I just want to show you that business model, a new way of like ownership, or like a new way of managing the money, you know. So basically the whole video is it's about not spending money, but keeping your money and having the best of the best and the newest things that's in the market. And the good thing in it is that you'll have like a advantage over the competition, because they will be stuck on one place and they will use up your money, and you won't use your money, and you'll be able to buy and to get the best things all the time. So who is this video for? So mostly for persons who already doing like really good, they have money, and persons who are not taking risks in the sense that it works and they have revenue and they have a lot. And unfortunately, it's not working for those who are just about to start a restaurant or just are like really tight on the money, because it would help them. And I want to show the logic, but I wouldn't say it's risky, but you know how they say the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. So the mindset what I'm telling you, it will have the persons who have like the rich mindset, you know. And many won't like the idea that I will present, but just stay with me, even if you're like not making like millions of dollars, because you will like the idea. At one point maybe we'll try this method. So I don't want to like prolong the video. I just start to explain the method, like what happens, and I show you the excess, like why you will be able to get like maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars and plus. So let's say we have like 20 tables in your restaurant, and each table costs like $3,000. It's just like a random number, because if you're like in New York, probably the table cost it will be like more. If you're like in East or like Middle Europe, the tables will be. So I just put the price like that's like in the middle, and we are talking about like the best restaurants in the capital. So I'm not talking about somebody who like survives from one day to another. I'm talking about if you're the owner of like one of the best restaurants in your town and you have like cash flow and you want to keep up that image all the time. So let's say, just for the sake of the number, it costs like 3,000 euros, like a table like that. Basically, we sell or we rent these tables, but I don't want to advertise the number. Just imagine a table that costs like that. Okay, so the total cost, it's like $60,000. And after a year, because persons are using it and you don't want to sell it, let's say, you can't sell them, because if you have like a lot of tables, nobody wants it. I don't say nobody wants it, but it's harder to sell because persons like other restaurants already know those tables, they are used. Maybe they lose like 60%, like 40% of the value. So the same table that you bought with $60,000, it will cost $36,000. So I'm telling how it happens now. So it's like buying a car. You buy the car and you lose a lot of money on it. And we want to avoid it, because 99% of the persons do that, you know. They buy something, they buy an expensive thing, or they don't buy it because they don't afford it, you know. And I will show you in the video how to not buy those things and how to own them and how to make money without paying the money. So first I tell how it's working, like how it's working now. Like 99% of the persons are doing like business model. They are buying something, let's say in our case it was like $60,000, and after a year they keep it and they don't change it, because they won't be able to sell at the same price, because it starts to get old. Persons use it. So let's say the value will be like $36,000, so you lost already like $24,000, and that's a lot of money. And sure, like I'm just explaining the logic, so don't get stuck on the table, because as I thought, if you're in a capital like in France, the prices are way higher. If you're in like Eastern Europe somewhere, you will say I'm crazy telling those numbers, you know. But the issue is that you need to change things, keep things going in a while, because you can tell, oh yeah, persons will like my place and they come back because they love it. Yeah, it's true in some of the cases, but most of the cases it helps a lot if you refresh the furniture. And my problem is the following. Let's say I put like a $500 here, and I say, because persons are using it in the restaurant, it will start to get like bumpy or like it start to deteriorate. And after a year, you have to repair it. I just put like a $500 per table, because it's like an expensive table. You're in a capital. It's like best of the best. I just put there a number. So we have 20 tables. That means yearly we have to spend like, let's say, it's just a number. So just don't get stuck there. Let's say $10,000. That means the first year after we bought the tables, and like let's say 365 days passed, we already have there like $70,000 and cash, and we use it. So it's not like a bank credit. It's not like something that's like a virtual money or like monopoly money. We actually paid first, and after we wait that the money will come back, and we'll make a lot of money afterwards, you know. But the problem is somebody took the money from us. Yeah, and that's a problem, and I don't like it, because it's not just about the tables. The tables is just like, or like the furniture is like maybe like 5, 10, 20% of the bill. It's like you have to think about the waiters, you have to think about like 10 million trillion things that eat up the money as well, you know. So the problem is here you invest the money, and you can't use the money in other, you know, because you need like maybe musicians, you need like maybe TV, like I don't know, like maybe a new place you want to move, you want to rent a bigger place, you know, maybe you want. So the problem is with this video I was so how to not pay that money up front. So yeah, here I have a cheat sheet what to speak about. So your money is locked for months there, because if you put down the money for months, you won't pay it off. So probably $70,000. It's not like in 2 weeks it will pay itself. It will be locked for months and months and months. You can't sell the furniture overnight, because it's not like, oh, you want to buy new furniture. You can sell like 20 tables with like 3-4 thousand, like 5,000 euros overnight, because you have the best of the best. It's not like you're like having a Bugatti Veyron. It's not like you can sell it like in 5 minutes, you know, on eBay. It's not going to work. And I'm not reinventing the wheel here, and I'm not talking about something like really new. I just want to show you the numbers, because if you think about it, yeah, sure, we make the furniture as well, and for me to sell your furniture like that, or like for everybody else, it will say, okay, you like the furniture, nobody can do it, it's like rocket science, it looks like science fiction, we can do it, it's like 3,000, 4,000, whatever, like 10 million trillion euros. Okay, cool. But the problem with it is that you buy it and you need to wait for months till the money comes back, and afterwards it will start to make money. And I don't like that. I like the idea when you spend the less money, you know, and you have almost immediate results, you know, like you're not waiting like 6 months, 7 months, or like even more. You have like results in like 2 weeks. Let's say you put furniture like that, like crazy, modern looking, like alien, like built furnitures, or like the classical furnitures, it doesn't matter, but I want your customers like feeling the venue, you know, that's the main idea. And what's the logic here? It's like renting, because yeah, sure, you might say, oh, renting is stupid, because if you buy something, it's yours, and it's yours for like years and years and years, and it will make you money. Yeah, it's true in 99% of the cases when you're like a small restaurant or like a small shop. It's true if you're surviving for a day for another, and you don't have like and you don't have the persons who want the best of the best there, you know, then it's true, then you just buy a furniture that you can afford, and you go with that till like a time that you will have the money to like change them. However, if you're rich, you won't buy it because the rich usually rent things or like rent it out. So the logic here is the following. You're renting the furniture, let's say for $1,000. It doesn't matter the number. Let's say the value when you buy it is like a 3 or 4 thousand furniture, and you buy it for a year, you rent it for a year for 1,000. And the main idea is not like it's a scam and you wait for 3 years and after you use it for 20 years, because in that particular case, when you're like in the top-notch restaurant in the town, probably it's better to change the furniture yearly, you know? And the good part here is because the furniture costs a lot, because you want to be like not 10% better than your competition, like 20. You have to be like 10,000 times better with the furniture, like the customer service or like the location and everything, And we're talking about just the furniture. So let's say if you spend like $1,000 when your competition needs to spend like $3 or $4 or $5,000 for the same thing, and you can switch like even yearly or like even maybe even in every 6 months. That means you have like unlimited money compared to them, and because the furniture like looks fancy and it's new all the time, you're like the hottest thing like forever. And therefore, let's say your tables, I don't want to say like it will be like 100% occupied, but it will be full compared if it's not changing. Sure, there are like restaurants that are like 200 years old or like 100 years, or it's like Franklin's barbecue. When persons go there, they don't care how. And probably there are restaurants like that. But mostly, I would say, I'm not in the restaurant business, so I'm not a restaurant owner, and I'm not studying restaurants for like 20 years, but I can tell what happens in our town. When something new opens, it's like basically for a few months. And afterwards, like not that many people start to go there because they see the furniture, they get accustomed to the food, and it's not like the new top thing. And afterwards, they have to go to a new restaurant or they have to like do something to keep it fresh. And that's the main idea. If you go and buy new stuff, it will cost. And that's why the renting, it's like one of the best ideas. Because look, let's stuck with these numbers. So let's say the renting for the table for a year is like $1,000. That means for months you pay $83.33 for a table. And again, we are talking about one of the best restaurants in the city center of like a capital. So you pay just $83. And I'm not a millionaire like saying just because the tables are making money for you. Because if you have something that nobody has, because it's like way better than like the competition, that means you're like in advance. And if you pay just $83 for that a month, I think it's that. And that means you pay daily for the table for rent like $2.78. How much costs like a Coca-Cola or like a Pepsi? Like when somebody comes and like eats a pizza at your place, they don't pay $2.78. So basically, if just one person consumes a Coke or something, probably they already paid the rent for a day. So it's if they buy two colas more because of those tables, that means you're already in plus, so you get the things for free. And it pays itself almost immediately. You don't have to wait like months and months and months. It's like almost instant. And if you think about $2.78 a day, it's like not a big money. And if you think your restaurant is open like 14 hours a day, you're sure it has no make sense to like make that calculation, but I'm just laughing at it. That means if your restaurant is open like 40 hours a day, and that means you would pay, and it's like the occupancy would be like, sorry. So that would mean if the occupancy is like 100%, sure, it's like a ideal thing. That means it will cost you like 20 cents per hour, like one of the best tables. And if one group sits like 3 hours at a table, that means a table costs per group like $60. You understand the logic now? So basically, one day renting the table costs like $2.78, let's say. And if the table is occupied like 100%, sure it won't be like that, but just stick with the numbers. That means every hour the renting the table, it costs you like 20 cents. And I consider that nothing. And let's say every group that visits your restaurant stay there for 3 hours. That means the table for a group, it costs like 60 cents. And usually, let's say sometimes there are like two persons at the table, sometimes there are like five. And let's calculate, usually there are three persons there. So we have the same number. So for a person to sit at the table costs you like 20 cents. And I'm talking about again, and I'm being cocky here, not that I'm a millionaire, I'm just telling that it's the game of the richest persons in the capital. That's like the top 3, 4, 5 places. And they pay 20 cents per person to sit on the best table. See the logic? So we can say that's nothing. And let me think about it. Like, let's say your restaurant or like venue makes $500,000 in a pay. Like it can be like $50,000, like $5 million. Like it doesn't matter. Just stick with me for a moment. And because of the tables look like really, really good, or like the furniture, because you can afford the top-notch thing all the time. You don't have to think about it. You just have the best of the best all the time, you know. And let's say because of that, 10%, you have like 10% more persons coming in. So let's say before that you have like 10 persons sitting at the table, you know, and now they're like 11 because they go on the street and they like how it looks, or they like on the Instagram because persons are making pictures where they sit on the table. And even so, if they are bringing like one friend in plus from like 20, so they were like 10% before, and now they are like 11. That means just let alone that, you will make like $50,000 in plus, and that's a lot of money. Even if you're like a millionaire, $50,000 is $50,000, and maybe it's like 30. Let's see, with 30%, that means you had like 10 persons sitting on like in a period, and now they are like 13, you know, and that means $150,000, you know, in profit. And you pay the same waiter, you pay the same cook. So basically, you pay the same rent if the place is not yours. So basically, the thing is almost pure profit. You just have to like buy a little bit more food, you know. But the main expenses, it will remain the same, you know. But you'll get way more money, you know, because the heating is the same, like the air conditioning is the same, like the personal it's almost the same. Maybe you put like one person in plus, but it's total money like for free, you know. Yeah. And let me calculate with the random number that we started with. So in this version, you don't pay like the $60,000 upfront and like the $10,000 repairs every year, so like the $70,000 after a year. Here you get like $20,000 that you paid for rent. So that means you have cash $50,000. So you have cash in your pocket that you can use for other things, you know. So that's like one of the best things ever. So you're making money and you're not spending the money. Even so, if you think about the logic, and most of the persons say like, yes, like renting things, it's a scam, like by definition. If you rent, you're scammed, you know? Yeah, but you will have the money and you're making money. And who is this idea good? It's obvious. It's good for the persons who want to make money, and it's not good for the persons who are like needy. Because if you're like needy, and I'm telling it in a rude way, because if you're like, oh no, I paid for something and I want to use it for like years and years and years because it's mine, and you're needy in that conception, that means you won't be able to spend that amount of money on that type of things. You won't be able to have the best, and therefore you're not making that amount of money, you know. So if you're in that situation that you're like surviving from a day to another, then probably that's the worst possible thing that you can make, to rent out things because you couldn't kind of figured out how to work in the first place. And it's like a risk. This thing is good for those who already have like a restaurant for years and it's thriving for years and it's working and they know what they are doing, and they say, okay, let's switch it a bit. Let's make even more money. Let's make like a better place for our customers. So again, if you're like somebody who's newcomer, who's like first restaurant, first year, first second, then it's not the best idea for you. Maybe buying them because you bought them, okay, let's buy one, let's see what happens. Don't buy 20 of them, you know. And I'm selling those things, so, but they are expensive, so I wouldn't recommend you to buy it, you know. I would recommend for those who already make a lot of money and they are probably like in the top 5-10 restaurants in the capital, that they are already know what they are doing. So that was today's video, and probably in the upcoming months I will speak a lot about furniture, the furniture that make. We already made a few ones, like 200 kilograms, I have no idea in pounds, but it's like heavy, like a baby elephant. We made some knife holders that weighs like a baby elephant. We need like a double crane to lift it up on the wall, and it will be like really funny to lift it up because it might destroy the house, something like that, you know. So we are concerned a bit. Yeah, so we'll do, so in the upcoming videos we'll do like some crazy things, and probably I will speak about those, like the furniture, and I will speak about real estate as well, because I'm kind of bound to it. So I will want to use like the furniture as like a real estate investment, because if you think about it, if you buy something, I don't want to say cheap, but something that's not durable, you know. I will give you another example. Most of the persons buy a car and they lose money on it because they are losing two ways. They are losing the money in two ways. Like one, they buy the car and it's the value will go down like immediately. And some persons who buy the car because they use it like for work, or they have like to transport something, they are not losing that much amount of money. And they are like the really weak who like buy cars for like hundreds of thousands of dollars or like millions of dollars, and it's like a collection car, the price of the car, it won't go down, it will go up and up and up, you know. So they bought the car, like say like a McLaren Mercedes for like 1 million, 2 millions, I don't know, I have no idea about. And afterwards, the price won't go down, it will go up. And I think furniture should be the same in a man, you know, because sure, here I'm contradicting myself with the renting, but their persons are using it, you know. So it's one thing when your family is using it, and it's one thing when like thousands of persons are using it, you know. So, and that's why I thought that we should sell furniture that's like really thick, like really robust, and it can resist like the time, you know. You buy it and the price won't go down, but it will go up, you know, in time. And I think we have a solution for that, and we sell furniture like that that you buy today for like 1,000 euros, 2,000, 3,000, it doesn't matter. And in like 5, 10, 15 years, the price will be like way, 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 way higher. Maybe it will double in value, or maybe triple. Yeah. And we'll talk about that in the upcoming video, so I see you here. And if you like what you see, like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.